I mean, they still do it in like combat sport and everything, I guess. So I don't know like how what the difference in performance is. Like it's like taking the 20 kilo weight cut in MMA is worth the performance difference because size is just so heavily overbearing when you're punching someone.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that carries over to most other pursuits.
Yeah.
Like the weight cut for a powerlifting meet, like, yeah, sure, you cut maybe,
3 to 5.
Yeah. 0.5% of your body weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, have at it. Like 0.5 to 1% maybe 2%, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to affect things too much. And you may only have to do that right at the end.
Yeah.
But if you have to cut 5, 10, 12 kilos.
Yeah. Also, though, like, you set everything up for this perfect peak deload. You are your
absolute best, yeah.
Absolute fucking strongest. You're useless at everything else in life right now except 3 things.
Yeah. They last 5 seconds.
Correct. And then it's like, cool, so we've just beaten the absolute living shit out of you, and I'm sitting here going like, you're under fatigue, it's coming, and your third lift is going to be the best lift that you've ever done. And then be like, now fuck yourself up for 24 hours.
Yeah.
With a weight cut. It just doesn't compute. At the top level, I get it.
Yeah.
If you're going to win Pro Raw, you're going to win Nats, I get it. 100%. It does make a difference.
You're
because
a couple of kilos just above your weight class too.
Yeah.
And you the long-term vision is be the best, you're in the conversation. Yeah. It's that whole, are you in the conversation? Yeah. Because the rules are different then.
Yeah.
But the rules for people who are building
to get there. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
And that's through my powerlifting. It was always I knew I had to be 100 kilos to be competitive.
Yeah.
5'8" in the federation that I was in, I was everyone my height weighs that.
Yeah.
So at 90 kilos, I'm not going to be big enough to move the loads that they move.
Yeah.
I have to get there. That's why I sent it so hard, so quick. Probably to my own detriment. So if you're, again, aiming for that, so Mads is a perfect example. We've come in at within 200 grams all 3 times she's competed. This time, she's 5 kilos underweight. And she's gotten within 2 kilos of the weight class underneath.
Right.
And she's like, so
should we?
Can we jump in the 60s? I'm like, for you to be the most competitive at this, you need to be 67 kilos at the body composition you are right now. So, no, let's not...
Makes no sense.
Starve you now to total a little bit less at a meet that isn't pursuing you to the next step.
Yep.
Let's just fucking eat and find out how much you can actually eat to gain weight.
Yeah.
Get the best result you possibly can.
Yep.
And then by next comp, you'll be 2 kilos heavier. And then you'll be 2 kilos heavier. And then you'll be 2 kilos heavier. And then you'll probably be totaling 350 like you need to go to that.
Yeah. I think it's a super valuable mindset to have to just zoom things out a lot. I totally understand when people are competing for the one event though, they just want to put themselves in the best position for that particular event. They can't see past that. And, to be really honest, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
If you want to be a high performer, you're taking it one pursuit at a time, one goal at a time, one event at a time.
Yeah.
And then that's when either you're really good at it at a personal level or you have a coach and they're looking at the whiteboard and going, right, we're here. But long-term goal is national level powerlifter or, top 3 at nationals in whatever class they want to do. That's both, physique and strength-wise. So you've got to go, you've got to make the decision, all right, what's the best decision right now? But what ties into the long-term journey at the same time? So if it is to get into a national competition, sure, let's pull the 2 kilos down or, let's do whatever.
Yeah. Which is what we did with Jess.
Yeah.
Because it's
opposite though.
If you go to 60, we could win.
Absolutely.
So let's do it.
Yeah. And that's when I go to compete, I'll kill myself for the weight.
Yeah.
Because I know that'll serve me.
Yeah.
I'll kill myself to get into a weight class. Because if I can get into the lower one.
Yeah.
And
you go from being
if I'm going to do
the
it,
biggest.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do it, I want to do well.
Yeah.
Like there's no other option. I've already done it. I've already dipped my toes and experienced it. Now it's like,
Yeah.
let's go to do what we're supposed to do here for someone like me, and that's like be in the top 3.
Yeah.
And I'll starve myself. I'll
Yeah.
lose muscle tissue. I'll do everything I have to. If I'm like 82,
Yeah.
like if it's projected like 3% body fat, 82 kilos or whatever it is, it's like sorry guys, I won't be able to remember a thing, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
But that's because like long term, it's like I'm not the goal. Like that pursuit fits into the long term goals for me. It's like I want to have another crack at this.
Yeah.
And I want to see if I can be the best I can be.
Yeah. And it's a marketable difference to your outcome as well. I think in a performance sport, what happens is like you miss 2 lifts. That's 20 kilos.
Yeah, absolutely.
15 kilos, maybe. That's a lot on a total, man. A lot. So that takes you from starving yourself to get a podium, miss 2 lifts, end up 5th anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
so
like
finishing 5th in the fucking
what's the
next one up.
And then what's the rebound out of that? Where like the story changes, like if you're 86 kilos and you're the next weight thing's 80.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's no point killing yourself.
Yeah.
Just rock up in the best condition you can.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know? And that's, but then
and if you want to improve your body composition, just do it after the meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just perform the best.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to do a variability phase with high volume and everything's going to be conducive to fat loss.
Yeah. How valuable do you think it is competing often if you know that person's long-term goals are in another weight class? I guess it's a bit different for powerlifting because I just look at it like with bodybuilders, right? So there's weight classes. Classic is a really good example. So it's like if your height is this, you can be this much weight.
Yeah.
So if you need to fill that said weight out, like 10, 15 kilos, right?
Yeah.
Is it not worth competing at all for until you do that? Or is the pursuit of competing over a period of time still valuable to be a good bodybuilder and to be, you know what I mean? Because like I get it that there's time lost, but then I'm like,
you have to be good at it.
Yeah, I'm like, do you not wait? Do you wait until you put it all on, or do you go, all right, we've put 7 kilos on this year, or do you just have an extended off season and then go, right, we've had a year off, even though we're not maximally up there, let's still dip our toes back in because we are a bodybuilder.
I think, and obviously it's not my space, but like in bodybuilding, I would say competing once a year would be kind of a given.
Yeah, I think if you need to make a lot of progress, I would not compete.
Yeah, I think you need to be a special human to not. Let's go that way.
Yeah, I
so
understand.
You have to have the mental fortitude to be like, you know what, I'm not going to do this for 2 years, but I'm going to live it for 2 years.
Yeah, well, that takes a different type of person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I competed once a year, my whole powerlifting. So I competed for 6 years in a row, and I only competed once.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there's 3 to 4 months that I'm probably not going to grow.
Yeah.
And like I said, I started at 80 kilos. I knew I had to be 100 to be competitive in that federation. So it's like, there's no benefit to me competing, but I needed it every year to measure progress, to be good at competing, to be able to rock up and feel comfortable, and all the like psychological side of it needed to happen yearly. And it wasn't a big enough detriment. I think there's more negative trade-offs to competing in bodybuilding there is powerlifting for long-term progress.
Yeah, because you still get strong.
Yeah, and you're not going to lose muscle. You're not going to...
you don't lose the strength.
Yeah.
You know, so you still kind of can compete, I guess.
Yeah.
That's where there is polarizing differences.
And I think it's a shorter time frame of not making progress. And then also like... Yeah, you're gonna need times that you want to pull fat back anyway. You're just taking it a little bit further. Like, I think that's a little bit different. I think for most people I work with, I think every 6 months is good. But that's based on who I work with.
Yep.
None of the girls I'm working with are like, I need to put on 15 kilos.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a thing for them.
Yeah.
So, and none of them are like, I only want to do powerlifting so I can win. So when I set out, I was like, I can at the train station near Good Life Essendon, sitting down with you, deciding to do my first comp and saying, I want to pull 300 kilos and I want to make nationals. Before I'd even registered for a comp. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to do. So for me, it was like, that's the goal, and these comps are stepping stones to that.
Yeah.
Most of my girls aren't like that.
Yeah.
They're like, I like powerlifting and I want to do
Yeah,
it.
and
it's
a time sensitive goal.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. Yeah.
So if every 6 months, every 12 months, whatever, I'm better,
yeah,
that's what I'm looking for here. So it wouldn't make sense to be like, don't compete for a year.
Yeah. I think it's contextual to the person.
Yeah.
Because even if you have that person that needs to put 15 kilos on to be, a national, to be top 3 at nationals, there's one of those. There's two people. There's one person that doesn't need to compete to live the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then there's that other person that needs that, like, prep starts June 1st for the next 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, they need that rigidness just to show up. And the other person possibly doesn't, or they're just willing to accept it, which is way harder.
Yeah.
Like, and most people think like it's easy to just do like 2 years of no competing. It's like those people are wired differently.
Yeah.
So you've got to set these little micro goals to be like, this is the first push.
Yeah.
And it's like, we need to put on as much.
Because you have to show up for 104 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
As though you're the thing.
Yeah.
104 weeks.
It's so long.
And people are like 8 weeks out, like, I got time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's the hard part. Even coaching, it's like you've got to just continuously remind them.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like, it's still good because you can reverse back a goal, right? So you can go, we're going to compete in 2026.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, October 1st, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so the prep's going to be maybe 16 weeks, we'll call it. We'll give ourselves a little bit of time. And then you're going to do a maintenance block to consolidate the size you've put on and just make the transition from growth to cut really smooth.
That's 20.
There's 20. And then you go, right, growth block, mini cut, growth block, mini cut, growth block. And then depending on that, like, you obviously your PEDs and all that kind of stuff, like, you need to be on, you need to be off, like for some people, like whatever. So you work it all back and it's like you've got over that 104 weeks, you have like, I don't know, maybe 60 of those to actually make progress.
Yeah.
Because if we want to do this right, if we want to make sure they stay cardiovascularly fit, make sure they stay insulin sensitive, make sure their digestion's good, make sure they look good the whole time. Like some people, they don't want to get soft and
gross.
Big and
gross is the wrong word.
Sorry. Yeah, but just they don't want
feel gross. Is what I meant.
They don't want the
not look. Just to be clear.
Well, they don't want the aesthetics to drop to a point where they're like not happy. They want to look kind of good. So it's like you get to 14-15% and you got to pull back. Yeah. Yeah. Because if they go any further, then they don't show up as good as they could. Or so when you do it like that, and that's where you've got to have these little time frames and go. Next 20 weeks, man, there's no fucking around. Yeah. I mean, sure, there's a little bit of rope, but if you give them too much and just go, oh, we've got time. Like if you as the coach take that attitude as well, that's how you make no progress. That's how you take 18 months or 2 years off and like you added 3 kilos. Yeah. It's like, 5 kilos. Like you should be coming back fucking 10 kilos heavier. And you see like as a big open bodybuilder, sorry, that's relative, right? Because if you're a small 50, 60 kilo bikini girl. You're not. Yeah, the 5 kilos is fucking heaps. Yeah. Yeah. So 10% of your body weight, maybe. Maybe let's say that 10 to 15%.
It's similar with like standards with lifting and just like being rough with critiques. Yeah. Like I've the last 14 weeks been on my girls like, that's not a pause. That's not depth. Yeah. That's not this. This week they all got I wrote it really nicely, and I'll laugh if they all listen because I was like, it was a big G up because we're 6 weeks out, but there's one bit in the middle that's just like, it's the stop fucking around. Yeah. No more high squats. No more fucking touch and go bench presses. No more like not wearing shoes or putting straps on for your top set. Let's fucking stop it. Like practice 6 weeks out, and you're going to be upset if you get to the comp and you're like, yeah, but I squatted whatever in prep. It's like, but you didn't. And now you're trying to get that here.
Yeah, and they'll be pissed at you for not holding them accountable as well.
Correct, yeah.
Unless they want to be held accountable until they're held accountable. But
anyway. Even holding those standards a long time out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I've always been, as a lifter, even to detriment at times, like so form focused. Like if the reps aren't perfect, they're wrong. Yeah. So doing everything to comp standard and stuff was, for me, kind of fine. But if you're not that way inclined, it's actually hard to be like, no, do your press with a 3-second pause every single time.
Yeah.
And approach the bar the same every single time and do the routine every single time. 60 weeks of that, like, it gets...
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what people miss as well, like, from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Like, what it actually takes. And it's not to, like, I'm amazing. But, like, I put 80 kilos of my total in 4.5 years.
Yeah, right.
Maybe less time than that.
Yeah.
It's like, my total was never impressive. Like, I still only totaled 620.
That's impressive.
But I made 80 kilos of progress in that time.
Yeah.
And it was just take the whole year. Behave like the person every single day for 52 weeks.
So you don't think competing often would have changed that?
Not in my experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in your first year...
Yeah, of course.
Jess and I were talking
skill,
about this the other day, that we had, both of us had girls that lift off, fuck you, did well. One of them was like, not my client, became my client.
Yeah.
Cool, let's get you into the meet because my other girls are competing, and then qualified for nationals. And Jess had the same with Kirsty.
Yeah.
And it was like, fuck, I don't really like competing 3 times in a year, and then the meet and nationals were only like 8 to 10 weeks apart or something.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not ideal, but we're going to take the opportunity. But it was, again, it was like first year, the exposure actually was helpful.
Yeah, because there's lots of skill and
and if you're not in the world of strength and body composition all the time, for strength, it's like you don't understand how important it is to step up to the bar the same way every single time.
Yeah.
Because you haven't felt what it's like to pick up your 3rd attempt squat and the room go black.
Yeah.
There is no queuing.
Yeah,
You're not thinking about the steps.
It should be autonomous by that
It's just
stage.
fucking stay alive.
Yeah, just up.
So if you haven't experienced that enough, when you go to the gym, it's just like, you're still talking shit when you get to the bar.
Yeah.
And having a laugh when you unrack.
Yeah,
it's
you're
like,
just not,
because you haven't been exposed to what it's like comp day.
Yeah. Maybe you don't know what your own personal arousal levels or own personal preferences for increasing your arousal levels
Need to be. Yeah.
I have to watch the last episode for that.
Mm-hmm.